Pleasure of talking to you on the phone and times. And I was really looking forward to being in Brussels in person to engage with you and to have this strategic, fifth round of the strategic dialogue. But nonetheless, we are engaged virtually, and hopefully this would be a good, productive interaction. Uh, COVID-19 has, uh, compelled us to, to stay away and not have a physical meeting. I'll just quickly share the challenge that we have faced. We were able to initially curtail the numbers quite well, I would say. We were frightened, knowing our fragile health system that will come under a lot of pressure if the numbers grow. But the policy that we followed, which worked reasonably well, in my opinion, and that was a policy of smart lockdowns, sort of drawing a healthy balance between saving lives as well as, protecting livelihoods to keep the economy going. It's worked reasonably well so far, but let me share with you, in the last couple of weeks, the numbers, like in Europe, I believe, the numbers in Pakistan have started going up. So we are not complacent. We will continue to remain vigilant on the challenge that we are facing, and we are following, strict SOPs. Unfortunately, as the numbers went down, fortunately, but unfortunately, the people became a bit more relaxed. They thought, oh, it was over, and not perhaps fully conscious that there could be a second wave, and now we actually are seeing the beginnings of a second wave. Mr. Burrell, I was very keen on this dialogue for a number of reasons. To me, European Union and Pakistan strategic dialogue should lead to a strategic partnership. And I have good reasons why we can develop a strategic partnership. I would like to highlight 5 of them to begin with. You mentioned, our trading links. You are the largest trading bloc in the world, and one of the most important trading partners Pakistan has. We are fortunate, thanks to the European Union. We fall in the category of those 10 countries that benefit from the GSP plus scheme. Now, this would never have happened if the European Union had not been magnanimous, if they had not revised the rules and raised the ceiling from 1 to 2%. We would have qualified to be a part of the GSP. So I wanted to thank the Union for doing this and allowing additional exports into your market, and we certainly have benefited from it. I also want to recognize that there is no other trading bloc, that gives trading concessions to developing countries the way the European Union has done. And that in itself is I think, commendable. Plus, if we look at the development assistance, I was looking at the figures for 2018, 74.4 billion euros in development assistance. No other bloc, I think, matches that, and I want to acknowledge and appreciate that. Secondly, out of the 27 countries in the bloc, with UK out now, 14 are countries that are part of the FATF mechanism, that forum. And that forum, as I mentioned earlier on, is an important forum for us, because Pakistan is struggling and working very hard, and we have made tangible and verifiable progress in dealing with the issue of money laundering and checking terror financing. Out of the 27 items of action, you would be pleased, and I'm glad it was acknowledged in the plenary that Pakistan fully had complied with 21 of them. The 6 remaining, we are working on them, and hopefully by February 2021, we should be able to fulfill our obligation on that score as well. Thirdly, out of the 27, there are 21 of your members that also are part of NATO. And NATO has invested a lot of time, human resource, and financial resource in Afghanistan. So we have a share, and paid a price, human price. So have we, economic and human price. That's why we have a shared interest in promoting peace, stability, and prosperity in Afghanistan and the region beyond. My fourth point that I want to make is why, to me, the European Union is an important strategic partner, or should be one, is despite Brexit, we have a sizable diaspora, 1.5 million, Pakistanis residing in different countries of Europe, and that's a fairly big number. And lastly, I think our partnership is a win-win situation for both of us. One, Pakistan is a country which has a population of close to 220 million people, which is a sizable market for European goods. On top of that, Pakistan, in my view, can be a hub for re-exports, and beyond, Pakistan towards our west, Afghanistan and beyond, into Central Asia. So there are huge economic dividends that can accrue from this partnership. So in my view, it's a mutually beneficial partnership, and we need to work more closely in developing it further and deepening our relations further. I also want to thank EU for the support we have received on COVID-19, as well as the recent floods in Pakistan. You mentioned, and I acknowledge, the reallocation of 150 million euros. Every dollar, every cent, every euro counts, and this money, I am sure, has been useful in dealing with this challenge of COVID-19. And I can assure you, we have and will continue to spend every penny very, very carefully to benefit our people. Just a few political developments I wanted to share with you. On the political front, we've been in office now for almost 2 years as a party, and we are a party which is relatively a new party, but a party with a new agenda, an agenda for change, and we are focusing on areas which benefit the common man. Our objective is how can we improve the lives of the ordinary citizen, in Pakistan. And we have chosen some areas which are of interest to you and as well as us. Let me just highlight them. For example, green energy, is one of our priorities. Climate change, we feel, though we do not contribute largely to the greenhouse emissions, but as a country, we recognize that we are very vulnerable to climate change. Similarly, our focus is on human resource development, health, education, and interfaith harmony. I would share 2 of our recent programs which have been appreciated nationally and internationally. One is a program called Ehsaas, which is compassion. It means, the translation of Ehsaas is compassion. It's a poverty alleviation program. we have a sizable, percentage of a population, perhaps, over 35%, somewhere there, which still lives beneath the poverty line. And this program is designed to focus on the poorest of the poor, to save them from the economic fallout, the internal and the external shocks. We have doled out cash, in a very transparent manner through this program. In a very transparent manner, and this has really helped the poorer strata of society dealing with COVID-19 when people were going through a lockdown situation. The other plan, the program that we've launched and has been appreciated a lot, is the Clean and Green Pakistan. This is a movement that we have launched, mobilizing people to show a civic sense and get mobilized with the municipalities and the city administration to clean the cities. And one of the steps that we have taken is we've banned plastic bags. They were a nuisance. They are a nuisance, and they were, choking our sewage system and creating problems. We've done that. We've also mobilized volunteers that monitor the removal of solid waste in cities. So this has come in very handy. On on climate, we feel that we have undertaken a project which will help us not just create jobs for the youth, plus it will help us in containing the adverse impact of climate change. And that is called the Billion Tree province that we got elected to in our last term from 2013 to 18, worked very well over there, and now it's been expanded nationwide. And now we are undertaking another project called the 10 Billion Tree Project. We feel that this will help the global born challenge, and contribute in restoring the 3.48 million hectares of forest. That's the international objective. And Pakistan, through this program, has, I think, contributed reasonably well. Coming to the issue of Islamophobia, I wanted to share with you that when we look at the rising trend of xenophobia, Islamophobia, racism, you've seen some horrific scenes in the U.S. on our television screens. Hate speech, unfortunately, is on the rise everywhere. Discrimination, and there are countries that have enacted discriminatory laws. Our eastern neighbor has legislated some laws which are specific for Muslims and are discriminating against Muslims in India. Then intolerance is on the rise, and we as different societies, cultures, ethnicities, people from different languages have to sit and talk about how do we address this challenge. As you said, it's very unfortunate what happened in France. It's very unfortunate what happened at the church. It's very unfortunate what has happened in Vienna that you mentioned today. I was looking at the television screen, and in the morning I saw there was a loss of about three people had already died, and some were injured. An attack on a synagogue. No, this is unacceptable, and I completely endorse your point of view that there is no justification whatsoever for such acts, which we cannot condone. And Pakistan is one of the countries that immediately reacted strongly and condemned such incidents. But what Europe and friends in France need to understand is the sentiment here. Denigration of Islamic personalities and symbols through hurtful caricatures and competitions, burning of Holy Quran. We've had a number of incidents, they were reported in Norway and other places where the Quran was, burnt. They are often perpetrated by design. And some statements by certain European leaders have not been helpful. They sort of provoke sentiments, and we feel that acts of individuals should not be associated to a whole identity. Exercise of the right of freedom of expression. Well, we are Democrats and we believe in freedom of expression, but it carries with it responsibilities and obligations, not to disseminate racist ideas or defame and ridicule religious symbols and religious personalities. It is essential to respect the sentiments of over 1 billion, close to 1.5 billion Muslims all over the world. Equally important to address the phenomena in a manner that helps to bridge, not accentuate any differences. With a sizable Muslim minority living in your midst, in the EU, we feel sincere efforts for an interfaith dialogue, harmony, and an alliance of civilizations is very important. And I think, the European Union can think about it, how you could initiate this discussion, this dialogue, where we understand each other, we understand each other's sentiments, hurtful feelings, and make room for each other. To give you an example, we undertook an exercise a year back in Pakistan, to address the sentiment of one of our minorities over here, the Sikh minority, and the Hindus living in Pakistan, by renovating, some temples, and through this Kartarpur corridor, opening up a very important site for Sikhs from all over the world to come and visit, and for that pilgrimage that they wanted to have. And that has had a very, very good impact in building bridges, in promoting a better understanding between different sort of religious factions within our society. So with this, with these opening remarks,